Hey, what's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be going over my returning player's guide for fish. Now, I'm not going to be going too into depth on how to obtain all of the rods that I say, but I will be showing off their passives, their stats, and other things like that. I also will be saying at which point of the game you should be going for them at, just like around which level, how much money you should have, and I'll also be going over some new features that you may not have known after returning to the game. The first feature that I want to go over is going to be the aquarium. It's just going to be a feature where you go ahead and input a fish into the aquarium, and the game will estimate how much money it should make an hour, how much XP it makes an hour, and how many items it should give you an hour. This is based off the size, the mutation, and the rarity of the fish. So basically what you want to do for this feature is you want to buy as many slots as you can to put as many fish, because you will be making that money back, and you just want to do equip best coin. The next feature that I want to mention is going to be this annoying guy right next to me, companions. If you press C on your keyboard, or if you go to your inventory and you look up companion, you'll find the companion satchel. I'm not too particularly sure on what these guys do. You'll just encounter them randomly while playing. Like, I caught this flopping salmon and I just found this beak bill by walking around on the beach, and I just saw him and he said that he wanted fish, so I gave him a fish. Now these guys all do random things, so Beak Bill, go ahead and he'll just be annoying in your face for whatever reason, but he'll also go around and get fish out the water. So if I go to this beach, eventually he will return to me with a fish in his mouth. Maybe he'll do it while I'm talking to you about the next subject. Another thing that I want to mention that you may not have seen because you have not played in a while are limited rods. Now, these are rods that are only going to be available for a small amount of time. Maybe a week, 2 weeks to 3 weeks. It's what I normally see. But it's going to include rods like Castbound, this is just a crazy rod that you probably would not want to miss out on. Same thing with the Lullaby. I'm not sure if this is limited. I know the Migu rod is limited. This is an amazing rod as well. You don't want to miss out on these rods. So you do want to get to the highest level that you can fast as possible. My recommendation for this rod is going to be the Great Rod of Oscar. I do know it's a minimum level, I think, of 240 or 250, so keep that in mind. You can go ahead and look up more about that. I will leave the link to the Fishipedia page in the description, where you'll find basically all the information about fish that you'll ever need. It gives in-depth descriptions on how you can find any rod, any item, anything that you possibly would need to get. Now, the one downside I would say is that a lot of the rods that are going to be good have a minimum level of 700 to around 1,000. So you will not be able to get, like, this rod, for example, until I believe it's level 700. It may be 1,000, I'm not particularly sure. Same with, like, rods like this. I think this one had a lower level, but this one's not available anymore. But there also are going to be good permanent rods, such as the Ruinous Oath, which I believe this is level 750, which is one of the best money-making rods, I believe, in the game. A good rod for returning players is going to be the Cerulean Fang rod. This one got me basically from this rod right here. So I went from the Rod of Depths to this rod. I went from Rod of Depths to the Great Rod of Oscar, and then to the Cerulean Fang, all the way to the Ruinous Oath, which is just going to be your quote-unquote last rod, and then from there you'll basically be free to choose whichever rod that you want to go for instead of which one's going to be necessary. Another key point is going to be enchants. The last time you played, there was probably only regular enchant relics, just a regular enchant relic, but now there's things called exalted relics. Now these are just going to be better, basically enchant relics. They're just going to be better effects, and they're also just going to be a lot more rare to get than enchant relic. Apart from that, there's also going to be something called cosmic relics. Now cosmic relics are going to be way more difficult to get. They're going to be way more rare, but the good part about them is that it's actually a secondary enchant on your rod. Now finally, for this video, I do just want to give y'all some recommendations on which rods to go for in my inventory. These are going to be basically only the necessary rods to get higher level, rather than just getting every single one at every point in the game, like stage 1, stage 2. It's just going to be like a couple from each stage, or even less, just skipping stages. I'd say the first rod that you should go for is going to be the Great Rod of Oscar. You just want to put all your materials into this rod until you get Clever and Wise. You can ignore every other rod until this rod has Clever and Wise. It may just be a boring rod, because it doesn't have any passives, but it does boost your XP the most out of every rod in the game. So this is going to be having you get to higher levels so you can get those better rods faster and sooner. Now combining with the Gray Rod Oscar, you want to go to Sunstone Island and you just want to fish anywhere there. Does not matter, you just want to fish at Sunstone Island and that's going to be your best source of XP. Essentially after coming to this spot, you're going to fish until you're satisfied with your level, and then you want to go to the Fishopedia. On this Fishopedia page, you're going to find all the rods in the game pretty much in stages, so then you can know which rods you should go for at what time. So this is going to be a very beginner stage. Stage 2 is going to be right after that. Stage 3 is right after that. None of these rods are too particularly standing out. If you're a returning player, you're probably going to be around 5 or 6. You'll probably have at least one of these rods. And you basically just want to choose a rod that you want to go for. If you aren't interested in doing that, then don't worry. I can recommend you 1 rod or 2 rods from each section. So after you unlock the Gray Rod Oscar at level 250, it's going to be 2.5 mil. I would recommend that you go for the Luminescent Oath to make that money back and make even more money. At tier 8, Pinion's Aria is really good. Cerulean Fang Rod is really good. And these two are just not worth it to go for at that stage in the game because there's just better ones that you can go for. If you have access to the Wicked Fang Rod, it's decent to get. It's similar to the Cerulean Fang, but it's not the exact same. At tier 8, you can go for the Ethereal Prism Rod, but it's not that much of an upgrade and it just costs more money, so don't worry about it too much. Everything else here is not going to be particularly too worth it. If you have a lot of money, I would say the Last Star's Ruin is a really good rod to go for. But if you don't, then don't even worry about tier 8, or I mean tier 9. And you can skip straight to tier 10 and just save until you can get the Ruinous Oath. It's going to be the lowest level. That's the most value. It's going to be 95 lure speed, 300% luck, control is not going to be good, but I can show you why in a second. The reason why this rod doesn't have good control is because whenever you fish with it, it's going to start like this, but the size will gradually grow smaller, and the slashes that it produces gradually get faster. And if you perfect catch a fish, it comes with the Mastered mutation. This mutation gives you so much more money compared to a regular fish. Returning back to the page, after you get the Ruinous Oath, I believe that you can go for any one of these rods that you feel like, and any of the previous rods on the previous pages. You should be going for this rod purely because I think it's the easiest to go for. It only has 100% Sparkling Shiny Bestiary for the Crimson Cavern, 5 mil, and then level 750. Once you hit level 750, you should already have these 2 other prerequisites. This is going to be the most difficult part. You can complete the Bestiary simply by appraising fish over and over. It's going to be really simple. 5 mil, simply from your aquarium. This is the only thing that's going to take active time out of your day for you to go for. Tier 11 rods, you don't really have to worry about these. I don't know why they're tier 11 personally. I believe that the tier 10 rods are just more versatile and usable, apart from the Olympian Godbreaker, but this one is not going to be easy to get at all. Requires completing an entire update location and 50 mil, which you probably don't have. But if, like I was saying, if you have a lot of money, this is a really good rod. If you have a lot of time, I believe you should go for that. Fabulous rod, 100% not worth it, I will not lie. I spent a lot of time to get it, and now I don't even use it that much. I mainly use rods that allow me to quick catch. So Ruinous Oath because it gradually speeds up. Plague Reaver because I'll just show you. The only thing that takes time about it is going to be shaking, but if you use instant catchers, 3, 2, 1, instantly catches. Oniri Fox is also fine for a tier 10. It's pretty decent. Olympian Godbreaker. So that's going to be the Olympian Godbreaker. It's a pretty good rod, but it is quite pricey, and it also does take a little bit of skill to get. The Fabulous Rod I can show you real quick. Basically, it's just going to be slashes with a decent sized control bar, and then once you get 3 slashes, it turns into a bigger bar, and it ups the progress speed by a whole bunch, and it gradually slows down and gradually gets smaller. That's basically going to be it for this video. If you did find yourself enjoying it, or if you need anything, you can go ahead and leave a comment. Just make sure to like and subscribe, and that's going to be it for me.